show you.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Hey everybody, welcome back to Wanna Play. My name is James McKenna, and right now we're going to be doing a video that I've wanted to do for a while, but I just haven't got around to doing it because I haven't seen all the movies. Today's video is going to be a ranking of all 8 movies in the Universal Classic disc set. So if you didn't know, there's a disc set that comes with 8 Universal Classic movies. Horror movies, of course, that stretch from the early 30s to the mid 40s, I think. So I'm going to be ranking all 8 of them since now I've finally seen them. So without any further ado, let's get straight into them. Coming in at number 8 is The Creature from the Black Lagoon. Now this movie was great. It's a classic. I mean, they're all classics, but this one wasn't just, I didn't like it as much as I liked the other ones because it's very repetitive with this score playing over like the whole movie, and the creature only attacks pretty much Native Americans. He only attacks one white guy, I think, and nothing really happens. It's not too much of an eventful movie. I mean, there's some cool parts, like when the girl is swimming above the creature underwater, but I don't know, I didn't really like the costume either, because it wasn't really mobile or anything, so yeah, that's why number 8 is Creature from the Black Lagoon. Coming in at number 7 is The Phantom of the Opera. Now this one loses points because, well, it's in color. It's the only one in this disc set that's in color, and I think it loses points because of that. It probably would have been much better if it was just black and white, but it is still pretty good. It gets annoying at points because it is an opera movie, so I mean there's a lot of just like high-pitched singing, no words or anything, but the thing that saves it from being last place are these shots. The ones of the Phantom's shadow when he's in the hallway and he just throws his cape around him. Those shots, in my opinion, are sick. I love those shots, except, I mean, he has a hat on. That adds to it. He doesn't have a hat on when you see him, though. But he's just such a spooky guy. But it does land on my number 7 spot because, well, the other ones are just better. Coming in at number 6 is The Mummy. Now, this one goes up in points because it stars Boris Karloff as the Mummy. As you know, Boris Karloff played Frankenstein in all of the early Frankenstein movies, and he's just a great actor. He also played the Grinch.
The mouse will hang open a minute or two, then the Who's down in Whoville will all cry, boo-hoo.
Yeah, there you go. So this movie was great. I liked it a lot. The Mummy's design was sick, and I liked the close-in shots of Boris Karloff's face. The makeup was awesome in this movie, and so was the acting. The movie was great. It was just a classic old-school mummy movie about them pretty much bringing them to life. So that's why it's number 6 on my list. Coming in at number 5 is The Wolfman. Now this one is awesome. The Wolfman is great because of the story. The characters in the story are great. You have Bela Lugosi in there somewhere, and the wolf design is actually pretty cool. I like it a lot. I wasn't expecting it because I didn't see any clips of what he looked like, but I thought it was pretty cool. Of just a guy walking around in just a big wolf costume. It was much more mobile than the Creature from the Black Lagoon, and it was great. The story was awesome. Them saying, oh no, there's no werewolves aren't real, all that kind of stuff, and then what do you know, he becomes a werewolf after being bit by a wolf. And everybody thinks that he killed everybody as a human, but nope, he was a wolf when he did it. So that's pretty cool, and that's why it lands a spot in number 5. Speaking of Boris Karloff, however, number 4 is The Bride of Frankenstein. Now, this would probably be much higher if the bride was actually in the movie, not just a random bit in the last 10 seconds of it. But the build-up was great. Obviously, you have Colin Clive returning as Henry Frankenstein, which is great. Unfortunately, it's the last Frankenstein movie that he's in because he passed away from alcoholism only a year later, I believe. But yeah, his performance is awesome, as well as the new Frankenstein design. I like the story of how he lived. It just doesn't really explain much. In the original Frankenstein, they set him on fire, and in this one, it just says he lived right through it. And he did, and that's awesome. Frankenstein is a resilient monster, probably the most resilient in the series, and the part when the bride actually does come to life is awesome. I love the story of this one, I love everybody's makeup design, and I love the little relationship that Frankenstein has with the blind man. And he can talk, which is pretty cool.
Fire, no good. Ah,
Coming in at number 3 is The Invisible Man. Now this one is number 3 because the dude is a psycho. The most evil villain in this 8-disc series is the Invisible Man. He was a normal guy, but then he discovered how to make himself invisible, and now he wants to take over the world. He's pretty much just messing with the town and the country for most of the movie, but it's always fun. For example, when he literally flings this guy out of his pants, that's sick, as well as all the fun little chase scenes that they have with him just in one piece of clothing. Those are always fun. So yeah, the guy was a nice, normal guy, and then he turned himself invisible and decided he would take over the world. He went to his new apprentice, and what he said was, "We're gonna take over the world, starting with maybe a couple murders here and there, maybe a tipping over a train or two," and then he actually goes and does it. This guy is sick. He's a legend in the film universe, and that's why they're making a new remake, which I'm definitely going to see this weekend. Coming in at number 2, shockingly, is Frankenstein. Now, a lot of people would have it at number 1, but not me, because I think that the number 1 movie is ever so slightly better. But this movie is definitely the most iconic through the series. The iconic line,
It's alive. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive.
which is in both my intro and the design for most iconic line, because it honestly is the most iconic line ever spoken in horror. I mean, go find someone who doesn't know it's alive or where it comes from. If you tell me you do, you're lying. This movie is awesome. The makeup, the characters, the story, the cast is great, as well as Frankenstein being an absolute monster. The scene where he comes alive, where they rise him up, strike him from lightning, that is awesome. One of the best made scenes in movie history. And then of course when he goes out and kills the little girl by drowning her, in 1931 may I add. Most movies nowadays are afraid to do that. That's why that this is at number 2, and the runner-up on my list. But coming in at number 1 is Dracula. This movie is so awesome. I love Dracula. It's perfect from beginning to end. Bela Lugosi is the absolute best casting of all these movies. Just his voice, his presence, and even his looks. He looks like a scary man, and he looks like he would be a vampire from Transylvania. Not to mention all of the times that this has been parodied throughout the years. I mean, you have the Hotel Transylvania animated series, and you have a ton of other ones. Whenever somebody goes to make an impression of a vampire, they always do Bela Lugosi's voice. He's just such an incredible actor, and everything about it, just the spookiness of it, and kind of like the randomness of it, kind of like The Shining a little bit. It's not supposed to make any sense, and it's arguably the scariest one as well, because when he walks through that massive spider's web and nothing happens, and then when he doesn't see himself in the mirror reflection, just classic cinema moments from the beginning to the end in this one, and especially this line.
I am Dracula.
Honestly, I think that's my favorite line from any black and white movie ever, and I find myself just randomly saying it all the time. I love this so much. I love all of these movies. So yeah, that's my ranking of the 8-disc set of Universal Classic Monster movies. Tell me if you agree or disagree in the comments and give me your ranking. I'm not sure what's going to be next because I don't know when this video is going to go out. I'm recording it in between 2 videos, so who knows. But until my next video, thank you for watching. So goodbye and good night. Bang!